everyone, my name is Tanzila Khatun and my today's presentation topic is genome assembly and gene identification of biosurfactant-producing bacteria for environmental bioremediation. So before moving on to our main slides, one question might be getting to someone's mind that what is even biosurfactant? So these are surface active compounds produced by many microorganisms such as bacteria or fungi. These substances contain both hydrophilic and hydrophobic part that help them to reduce surface and interfacial tension. So compared to chemical surfactants, they are much more eco-friendly, biodegradable, and effective even in extreme conditions. Our main goal of this study is to identify some bacterial strains that has the potential to emulsify oils or heavy metals and can contribute to bioremediation. Our methodology follows from quality control assessment using FastQC to genome assembly using SPEDS followed by rapid annotation in PROCA. To identify our secondary metabolites, we use anti-smash, and to identify generic differences between our covariant reference genome, we did variant calling. So let's get into them one by one. For quality control assessment, we used two rates, forward and reverse rate from Illumina Minisec. After running in FastQC quality control tool, the first result we got is basic statics, where we got results like total sequence, length, and GC contained. Result is par-based sequence quality. As you can see, most of our sequences are in green lines indicating good data quality. For par-tile sequence quality, there's no drop in par-tile quality, giving also us the result that our data was done in a good manner and good for further downstream analysis. Other 11th result we got from FastQC also shows that our data passed most of the results and it was good for further analysis, and we move on with our analysis. Our second step was to assembling our genome using SPEDS. So after assembling our genome, instead of short rates, so like billions of short rates, we are getting longer rates, which are easier to work with and easier to store. Errors were corrected and contaminations were deleted. So how SPED does create long rates? They do this by producing K-mers. So K-mers are like, if I say 5-mer, then 5 nucleotides are coming up together to form one context. This context will have some overlapping part, as you can see here. These overlapping parts will be eliminated by SPEDS, and one long read will be produced known as a scaffold, and scaffold is the rates we worked with. Then we went to annotation, and we annotated with PROCA. Only after rapid annotation we can convert our raw genome sequence into some biological meaningful information. If I give you a very real-life example, without annotation, it's like a Google map without leveling. It's only houses and roads in Google map, no leveling there. Will that be useful to you? I don't think so. Without annotation, it's exactly like that. After annotating our data, we know which will code for gene 1, which is non-coding part, which is repeated part, and so on. These are the results we got from PROCA annotation, and among all the files we used GenBank file for our anti-smash. After running in anti-smash in no region number 7.1, the type we found is NRPS, which is known as non-ribosomal peptide synthase. It has 82% similarities with a cluster called surfactant. Surfactant is a potent biosurfactant found to be produced in Bacillus species. If we focus on node number 7 only, we can see that 3 biosynthetic genes are present here. To identify that what are names of these genes, we ran our anti-smash result in SnapGene bioinformatics. From SnapGene, it is clearly shown that 3 SRF genes are present in this NRPS region. Those are SRF-AA, SRF-AB, SRF-AC. In previous research, it was proven that SRF genes are the indeed genes which are present in Bacillus species and which are responsible for this Bacillus species to produce biosurfactant, which is surfactant again, which validates our result that our strain does belong to Bacillus species and it does contain 3 SRF genes, which is enough for them to produce surfactant for bioremediation. Yet we did a circular genome mapping, and in this map here also NRPS regions are clearly present that further validates our result. We collected some reference genome for variant calling from NCBI by doing BLAST-P. From all the results we got from NCBI, we took top 7 homologous genome and we did an average nucleotide identification run. And in this heat map, you can see scaffold is the strain we worked with, has 98.34% similarities with Bacillus subtilis strain 168. Yet we did a phylogenetic affiliation of query genome against existing species. Yet it shows that whenever our strain coming across Bacillus subtilis, it gives 100% similarities. That does say that our strain does not only belongs to Bacillus species, but it's also one of the strain of Bacillus subtilis species. Yeah, for variant calling, we again took the top 7 homologous genomes, and what variant calling do is it compares reference genome against our query genome and shows us how much differences they have. So the list the differences the reference genome has with the query genome, it's more likely to that query genome belongs to that specific reference genome. For our case, our query genome shows least number of differences in total variant, SNP count, insertion and deletion with Bacillus subtilis strain 168 compared to other 6 homologous genomes. This is the visual representation of the table. And when we did transition transversion test again for variant calling, again our strain does have the least similarities with Bacillus strain number 168. This is a visual representation. And our final result and finding is that our selected bacterial strain does belongs to Bacillus subtilis species and have the potential to reduce water pollution by degrading diesel through bioremediation. So we hope to work further with this and come to a good solution for reducing water pollution worldwide. So this is it for my presentation. I'd like to conclude here. Thank you so much.